Okay, you guys, as promised, here is our latest and greatest YouTube video. This one is going to be on interpretive paragraphs, and I know you saw this already. We looked at it in class, but I want you to screenshot this image and then pause the video, read it over, take some notes on it, just kind of refresh yourself on what happens in this short passage. So this is the paragraph that we looked at in class that was written on the passage, the previous image that you took a screenshot of. I also want you to screenshot this paragraph if you want to. You don't have to, but this is the paragraph that we're going to be working on for this particular video. So the first thing we talked about was the totally awesome title. We have some alliteration in the title. Title everything, okay? Remember that. It's really important to title because it can help focus your paragraphs. And then this author did something really clever where he used words from the title in the concluding sentence. So that's tip number 1. If you want to be creative, title your paragraph and then use a word from the title right in the paragraph, especially at the end. The next thing that we focused on when we talked about this paragraph was the verb congratulates, and then we also talked about the abstract nouns persuasion and stealth, and they're possessive abstract nouns, right? Because they are his. So using a interesting, vivid verb like congratulates and using abstract nouns in your topic sentence are wonderful ways to continue to focus your ideas right from the beginning. I said this in class, but I'm just going to say it again. Having a really strong topic sentence sets the tone for the paragraph. Rarely can a student write a vague, cliche, hackneyed topic sentence and then write a terrific paragraph. It all sort of stems from that one paragraph. 1 second. Oh, hi, Phyllis. Okay, so next we're going to look at the interpretive sentence that follows the topic sentence. So I'm just going to underline it here. And you guys, you'll notice as you read it out loud to yourself that you have 3 present participles, right? Witnessing, seeing, and deciding. And those 3 present participles are in parallel structure, right? Because we have the repetition of the same grammatical structure more than once. So witnessing the accident, seeing his mother, and then deciding. Those are all participial phrases, and there's 3 of them. And the quotation itself is in the subordinate part of the sentence, right? The sentence that is the part of the sentence that's dependent. So you want to make sure that you put your quotation in the dependent part of the interpretive sentence. And there's tons of analysis here, right? Toby reveals his selfishness and unconcern for the truck driver, the crash, and his mother. So I know I did this in class, but I'm just going to do it again so that you can see selfishness and unconcern, right? They directly relate to these words. They all have a sort of the same connotation, and you want to have that connectivity in your interpretive paragraphs. All right, so we'll just keep going. His mother worries greatly about the effect that the horrific scene of the accident might have on her son. But in contrast, so you have a nice transitional expression. So you want to use those transitional expressions. He spies her vulnerability and he seizes the opportunity. So fantastic words, right? They all relate to the same ideas that were presented in the topic sentence. This author is clearly choosing the right word, not just the first word that comes to mind. And everything so far has a connection. We need one more interpretive sentence because we want to have 2 or 3 in each paragraph. Yes, this one is in a present participle form, but let's take a look at it. So thinking now that her guard was down, I couldn't help myself. That's the participial phrase, right? The quote is in the phrase. It's in the dependent or subordinate part of the sentence. The narrator unveils his belief that his mother is simply an object ripe for the tricking. What great wordplay, right? Such good wordplay. This author is being really creative and intentional. He remains untouched by the accident and pleases himself with his manipulation, right? Over his mother. These words all, again, relate. The narrator, unlike his mother, feels invincible. He has not lived long enough to be affected by such things as car accidents and naively takes advantage of his mother's mournful state to obtain material possessions like a beaded Indian belt. All right, you guys, so we have dissected this paragraph, but you should have screenshotted both the passage and the blank paragraph. You should be taking notes on this video. I know you have all these notes already, but I think this is a good reminder for you. Also, we had a kind of funny interruption from Miss Grinspan in there. So take notes on the video, read the passage, read the paragraph again, and then employ these ideas in your interpretive paragraphs that we're going to write for the rest of the year. Okay, so here is a mini lesson on interpretive sentences. Remember, interpretive sentences are when you are putting plot and analysis together in one sentence. So you want to make sure you identify the speaker. You want to make sure that the reader knows who said the quote. You want to make sure you've described the tone. Is it a negative tone? Is it a positive tone? Make sure that you relate to attitude and tone in the sentence. Make sure that that connection directly correlates with whatever you have said the tone is in your topic sentence too. Explain the context if you need to. Make sure you remember less is more though. Less plot, more interpretation. Make sure you connect. Use those words that are synonyms for each other. Take a word from the quote and use a synonym for that word in your analysis. Make sure you identify the main theme and make sure it connects to what you said was going to be your main theme in the topic sentence. Subordinate all quotations. That means make sure your quotation is in the dependent part of the sentence. Place your interpretation in the main clause. Be creative. Attempt parallelism. Use a subordinate conjunction maybe for your first interpretive sentence, and for your second one, use a participle. And of course, make sure you punctuate properly. A couple more tips, you guys, and this goes for your interpretive paragraphs in general. Make sure that you name your attitude and then all the words that you use in that paragraph connect back to that attitude. So if you are talking about something positive, some great verbs to use are things like applauds, compliments, praises, admires, values, enjoys, favors, respects, etc. You can think of more, right? But here's a great word list to get you started. So here are some words that can help you explain a negative attitude if the narrator condemns, maligns, hides, conceals, dislikes, scolds, blames, or attacks. All those words reflect a negative tone. And here's some more verbs that just work really well in interpretive paragraphs. And I know that you have a list of these in your notes, hopefully. But just to add a few more, you could use recognizes, reveals, hints, suggests, unmasks, symbolizes, portrays, illustrates, highlights, describes, so many, right? But these are vivid verbs that work really well in interpretive sentences within that larger interpretive paragraph. Okay, guys, so that does it for Interpretive Paragraph 101, Interpretive Sentence 101. I hope that you got a lot out of this video. You should have screenshotted, right, anything that you want to pause on or go back to. I guess you could also just hit the pause button, but those screenshots will really help you if you want to go back and remind yourself or relearn. If you have questions, please ask me, email me. You can use this video tomorrow during the in-class writing if you want to, just to remind yourself. And you can use all your notes in the in-class writing to help you. I want to make sure that you do the best that you can, and I want you to use all the resources that you have available to you. All right, that does it for video number 3.